Okay, another integral video. This is problem number 18 from the homework. And it said, take the integral from 0 to 1 of sine 3 pi t dt. Alright, so we can go ahead and set up a u. Let that be 3 pi t. Our du dt, it's just going to be 3 pi, because pi is just a number, so that's 3 pi, which is a constant. We can pull the constant out, then take the derivative of our variable, which is t, and the derivative of that is just 1, so that's why du dt is just equal to 3 pi. So du is going to be 3 pi dt. And so dt is going to be equal to 1 over 3 pi du. Okay, so now, go through and substitute that in. So that's going to give us the sine of u. And then our dt is just 1 over 3 pi du. Okay. And so we can pull out the 1/3, since that's a 1/3 pi, since that's just a constant. And that will leave us with sine of u du. Okay, so there's what we have, and if you'll notice, I haven't put anything there as far as our interval, because I'm going to do that later. I'm going to end up turning the u, going to go ahead and sub that back in. But so there's what we had, and once we take the derivative of that, we're going to have 1 over 3 pi times the antiderivative, of sine u, which would be sine is the derivative of sine is just cosine. So I can get rid of that negative. That's going to be cosine of u, and the du goes away. So, no, I'm sorry. I got all mixed up. We're doing the antiderivative, and so that's going to be a negative cosine, because the derivative of cosine x gives us negative sine x, and since we have a positive sine x, whenever we if we had negative cosine x, that would give us a negative sine x, which gives us what we have right here. So the antiderivative of sine is negative cosine. So I'm glad I caught that. But so we still are going to be taking this over a specific interval. But anyway, so it's going to be negative, excuse me, 1 over 3 pi cosine, and I was just going to plug in what we had. I think that was 3 pi t, and that was from 0 to 1. Yeah, I think that looks right. Okay, so now we use our f of b minus our f of a. And so that's going to leave us with negative 1 over 3 pi cosine of 3 pi times 1 minus our negative 1 over 3 pi cosine of 3 pi times 0, which is our a. Okay, so there's what we left off with. So it's going to give us negative 1 over 3 pi cosine of 3 pi times 1 is going to be 3 pi. And it's going to be minus negative 1 over 3 pi cosine of, 3 pi times 0 is going to be 0. Alright, so now, doing everything, 1 over 3 pi, the cosine of 3 pi, at 0, cosine is 1. At pi, it's negative 1. At 2 pi, it's 1. So at 3 pi, it's going to be negative 1. As far as doing trig, it's going to be negative 1 over 3 pi. And like I said, the cosine of 0 is just 1. So that's going to give us a positive, because we have negative times a negative. So it's going to give us a positive 1 over 3 pi. And then we have minus a minus, which is going to give us a plus. And then, 1 over 3 pi times 1 is going to be 1 over 3 pi. And so that should equal 2 over 3 pi as the final answer.